ओम सर्वेभ्यः नमस्काराः। अद्य 70तम वेद संस्कृत समिति प्रसंग कार्यक्रमे डॉक्टर प्रभु महोदयस्य भगवद्गीता चतुर्थचरणं वैज्ञानिक प्राबन्धिक अंशानि के सन्ति इति अधिकृत्य प्रसंगं कुर्वन्ति। तत् समावेशे सर्वेभ्यः आह्वयामि। आरम्भात् पूर्वे अहम् अस्माकं उपाध्यक्ष डॉक्टर विशालक्ष्मी मातरम् आह्वयामि, प्रार्थना करोतु इति।
ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ओम श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु। सदाशिव समारंभां व्यासशंकर मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परंपरां। मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्य देवो भव अतिथि देवो भव। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
हरि ओम्। इदानीं डॉक्टर प्रभु महोदयं सुपरिचितः, सर्वेभ्यः जानन्ति। एतत् बहवः एषः बहवः प्रसंगानि अस्माकं मध्यमे दत्तवान्। सो तम् आह्वयामि। महोदयं आरम्भं करोतु इति प्रार्थना।
ओम शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य द्विरदवक्त्राद्या पारिषज्या परिश्रुतं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं समाश्रये। सम्यग्ज्ञायकलापेन महता भारतेन च उपबृंहितवेदाय नमो व्यासाय विष्णवे। व्यासं वसिष्ठनक्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुखतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। मुनिं स्निग्धाम्बुदाभासं वेदव्यासमकल्मषं वेदव्यासं व्यासं सरस्वत्यावासं व्यासं नमामि। अचतुर्वदनो ब्रह्मद्बाहुरपरो हरिः अफाललोचनः शम्भुर्भगवान् बादरायणः। कृष्णं कमलपत्राक्षं पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं वासुदेवं मुनिं नौमि नौमि नारायणं हरिं। कृष्णाय यादवेन्द्राय ज्ञानमुद्राय योगिने नाय रुक्मिणीशाय नमो वेदान्तवेदिने। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सारथ्यमर्जुनस्यादौ कुर्वन् गीतामृतं महद्ददौ लोकत्रयोपकाराय नमो कृष्णाय नमः। कृष्णात्मने नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सस्सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। सार्धाय प्रतिपादितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितं पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्। अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्बा त्वामनुसन्धधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतात्मदः विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः। Bharatamrita sarvasvam Vishnurvaktrad Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanma Navidyate Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanyai Shastra Vistrai Yasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmadvinisruta Gita Dhyayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santihi Papani Purva Janma Krutanyapi Akrutyamapi Kurvano Bhunjano va yatastatah ghoram vaivasvatasthanam Gita-dhyayi pashyati Malanirmochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine Sakat Gitam bhasisnanam samsara malamochanam Shlokamekam tatartham va padam padardhameva va Nityam pathati yo bhaktya samoksham adhigacchati Sarvashastramayi Gita Sarvavedamayo Harihi Sarvatirthamayi Ganga Sarvadharmamayo Manu Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gita Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantro Devaki Putra Nama Dharmapyekam Devaki Putra Seva. Friends, we have been discussing the management principles and scientific principles in the Bhavadgeeta. We have discussed last time about the Karma Yoga, the importance of Yajna, how Karma Yoga is performed in the concept of Yajna as everything which you do is a service-oriented approach. Like any profession, any activity, any task in the society, in a company or in government, like a teacher or a lawyer or a doctor, if it is viewed as a yajna, as a service for the society, loka sangraha, then it becomes karma yoga. Now, who can really perform karma yoga? An ordinary person cannot perform karma yoga. It requires jnana. So unless you have the jnana, you cannot really become a karma yogi. And the importance of jnana was emphasized last time in the 4th chapter. And today we'll be discussing some of the management issues which are identified in this chapter, and they are elaborated and alluded with great detail about the personality of a leader. Now, there are a couple of managerial principles I want to touch upon. The corporate social responsibility, CSR. My name is CSR Prabhu. It's not corporate social responsibility Prabhu. A lot of people may think like that. But corporate social responsibility is a concept in management which has come up of late on the basis of the principle that, you know, the business enterprise which the management is operating has derived its funds from the society. Therefore, the management has a responsibility to return back to society. So the government has put a limit of some 6% minimum. But I was surprised to note that in the ancient times, there was no such limit. The responsibility to return back to the society was maximum. In the concept of dharma, Sanatana dharma, like when you take business enterprises which were operated by the Vaishya communities. I have discussed with the traditional Vaishya community experts, and they told that 50% was to be given back to the society. 50% of corporate social responsibility. Normally 6% is supposed to be a very big figure, but how come it is 50%? Because it's actually the Vaishya community originally, as per the Sanatana Dharma rules and regulations, were permitted to keep only 30% of the profits for themselves, 20% for taxation, and 50% for social charity, corporate social responsibility, like you know, the constructing Vapi, Tataka, Kupa, that is wells, bunds, lakes, and hospitals and chowdhuries and temples and so on. Like the Birlas are doing, you can see that they construct Birla temple, Birla Institute of Technology, and so they are also following the Vaishya Dharma of returning back to society through the corporate social responsibility. That is Dharma, it is called. Sanatana Dharma principle of corporate social responsibility was 70% giving away and keeping only 30%. So that is what I understood very recently. And the traditional Indian methods of business and profit making through dharmic methods, and again returning back that profit 70% to the society or the king, was being practiced all through the traditional generations of Vaishyas, who were bankers, who were agriculturists, who were traders, and even till now, it is the original mandate. This is not understood. So today we have the capitalistic model, we have the socialistic model. Socialistic model has failed in Russia, they have gone for the capitalistic model. In China also, in Shanghai and other cities, they have switched over to capitalistic model, but still under the control of the Chinese Communist Party. So the capitalistic model, which is there in the entire Western world, Western European, American, British model, which has collapsed in a way, in the sense it has expanded the rich community becoming more richer and the poor community becoming more poorer, because there is no human value there. There is no equitable distribution of wealth. So in the socialistic model, there is an enforced equitable distribution of the wealth through the socialist or communist model, but it is by force, and it has resulted in tremendous amount of hardships for common people. So both the models, two extremes, have failed. So what is the correct model which will succeed or which is sustainable, not only in terms of environment? We have discussed last time about the environmental aspects of protection of environment through yajna. Apart from that, what is an economically sustainable model? Neither capitalistic model nor socialistic model is sustainable, because both have failed in a short period of time. Whereas the Sanatana Dharma model of the Varnashrama Dharma, along with the Vaishya community returning back not only to the government 20%, but 50% to the society at large, and keeping only 30%. This principle was followed for a very long time, thousands and thousands of years. And all these thousands of years, India was the richest country in the world. Till 1740 AD, as per the Angus Madison research and tables and books, India and China captured 68% of the global domestic product. Whereas after 1740, that is the British colonization, by the time of 1947 independence, it came to 6%. What was 68% became 6%. Of course, 68% was both between India and China. If you equally split also, it will be 30 to 40%, 35%. It came down to 6%. Whereas before that, the Europe had only 6%, and India and China got together 68%, and other countries are there. So this looting of the British colonization resulted in converting the global domestic product to 6% only for India. And India became a very poor country, one of the poorest countries in the world, thanks to the colonialism and looting, direct looting, indirect looting, wealth transfer, and so many other methods adopted. So today we are in a position to recover our original identity, and that is why the BJP is able to withstand its opponents. And our original identity in terms of economic models is, and what is that dharma-based economic model? It is yet to be defined, but some people like Kanak Sabhapati have studied the traditional methods of Indian business management. They have written on management principles of Indian business management. In the state of Gujarat, everybody is a businessman. All Marwadis are successful businessmen. Most of the businesses are managed only the Vaishya community, even today, big businesses, even if you take the Birlas, for example. So what is their model? It's not capitalistic model, it is not communistic model. They have their traditional model. So which has the dharma has incorporated, got diluted in the recent times. So dharma is the central principles based on which the Indian economy, polity, administration, politics, everything was worked out. And that is what is brought out in the Mahabharata and in the Ramayana, through the personalities of Rama and Yudhishthira and Krishna. So Krishna in Bhavadgeeta is only elucidating dharma. Now coming to, we have discussed about the corporate social responsibility and dharma interaction. And now we will talk a little bit about the HR and leadership. In the HR principles, how to deal with your colleagues, how to deal with your boss, how to deal with your customers, how to deal with your subordinates, Like if you deal with your subordinates, like as if you are dealing with your customers, it will be a failure. If you deal with colleagues, equivalents, like subordinates, that will be a failure. If you have the transactional management principles, we have big books written by people like Eric, who have written, books like, I'm okay, you are okay. You might have seen this book. There are 3 states of ego: the adult, the child, and the parent. If I am interacting with you, if I am an adult and you are also an adult, I should interact with you at the adult level of ego state. But if I treat you like a child, you will get offended, you will get angry, and there will be a clash. And if I treat you like a parent, if you are not old enough, that also will be improper. Similarly, when I treat older people, I have to treat them like parents, and I remain as an adult or even a child. And when I deal with child, I have to deal the child only as a child and not as my parent. So between equals, like husband, wife, or colleagues of same level, there should be mutual understanding. And between adult and child, there should be kind of kindness, compassion, and encouragement. And between the adult and parent, there should be respect. So superiors are parent, like the respect should be there. And equals will be understanding will be there. They are like husband and wife or own brothers. And between subordinate and boss, there should be compassion and congratulation and enthusiasm. I mean, like motivation. If this is not there, the ego states will clash, and that will result in a collapse of the management. This is called transactional analysis. You must have heard of this. There are transactions which are called games, which are called genuine intimate transactions. The transactions which I make with my mother, for example, they are intimate transactions. The transactions which I make with others, I play games with them. When you go to a shop, the shopkeeper is going to play a game with you. If you ask something, he may have it, but still he will say he is not there, and he may tell higher price to play a game with you. So games people play. This is a very famous book. Transactional analysis is done there. So genuine intimate transactions are the best. Honesty is the best policy. And the HR level issues, managers' mental health, the leadership which a manager should show, which should surpass ordinary management principles, go to a higher and higher level. There are 3 levels. The ordinary level is just a group leader who will just motivate his people to do the work or threaten them with carrot and stick or reward. And the higher is a big leader. We have many groups under him. But much higher is a top leader who can be a whole department head or a secretary or secretary to government of India or a CEO, or even higher will be people like Gandhi or national leaders, international leaders. They have a different level of leadership quality and ability and motivation. All 3 different levels are different levels of motivation and nature of motivation. The highest person is a self-actualized. He is not interested in getting promotions or making more money or building more properties or any other goal. He is just doing for Loka Sangraha, self-actualization. That is what Lord Krishna has enunciated in the Karma Yoga. And the lesser leaders, managers, will have negative emotions like greed, envy, egoism, suspicion, anguish, anger, blasting out caustic remarks, making caustic remarks, and attacking, criticizing, abusing. These are all lower level negative tendencies, and they indicate the failure of the leadership in that particular manager. So the leadership qualities of a higher level motivation of self-actualization is what is being discussed in the chapter 5, which we'll be covering today. A self-actualized leader, he will be contributing to the society through karma yoga, through yajna, with the jnana behind him in his mind, in such a way that he will not be doing anything because nothing binds him. We have discussed last time what is karma, what is akarma, what is vikarma. So karmanya karmaya pasyad akarmani cha karmaya sasan sabuddhi That means if you can do everything and yet be not doing anything, in other words, you are not affected, and that is Karma Yoga. So now Arjuna is raising an issue, question with Krishna. Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karavu Bhav Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yogo Visishyate. So, oh Krishna, tell me, you are telling on one side, Sannyasa Karmanam Krishna Punar Yogam Cha Shamtasi Yachre Etayoresham Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam. Tell me very clearly once for all, O Krishna, whether I should perform all the karmas, that my duties and other things, or I should just give up and be in enlightened state of sannyasa, having given up all attachments, having given up all attachments and all obsessions and all emotional involvements. I will take sannyasa and sit with jnana, because jnana can lead to sannyasa. Vasanakshaya manonasha tattva jnana vashattu jnana raksha tapasiddhi sarva samatvam dukkha nivritti sukha avirbhav. So a true sannyasi who has given up everything and sits in a mountain or a cave doesn't require anything. He doesn't require food also. So such a person, a sannyasi and yogi, whether I should become that or I should be doing the karma, you better clarify to me, O Krishna. That's what Arjuna is asking. And the reason he's asking that is that a lot of statements were made in the previous dialogues between Krishna and Arjuna in the 3rd chapter and 2nd chapter. And Adi Shankaracharya has referred to those statements. Karmanya karmaya pashyet ityarabhya sayukta Krishna karma krut jnanagni dagdha karmanam chariram kevalam karma yadruchala santushtaha brahmarpanam brahmahavi karmajan vidhitan sarvam karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate jnanagni sarva karmani dahyate yoga sanyasta karmanam itya anyaihi vachanaihi sarva karma sannyasam avochat bhagavan. So it looks as if the Lord has prescribed to Arjuna to perform a total renunciation of all karmas. Chitvainam samshyam yogamatishta ityeva vachanena yogam cha karmanusthana lakshanam anutishtet uktavan. And he is also saying you take up yoga, karma yoga. Tayor ubhayoscha karmanusthana karma sanyasayoho sthiti gatai vat paraspara virodhadekena sahakartum ashakyatvat kalabhedena cha anusthana vidhana bhavat ardhad etayoho anyatara kartanyata prapto satyam yat prasyita etayoho karmanusthana karma sanyasayoho tat karma kartavyam netarayati ityayam asamyamanah pasyatya bhuvutsa Arjuna uvacha sannyasam karmanam Krishna ityadi. So that's why Arjuna is asking Krishna, you better tell me very clearly whether I should be a sannyasi or a yogi. So now again Lord Krishna is replying, sannyasa, because a lot of people, some of us also who are present in this meeting, must have thought one day or the other in their whole life till now, it is better to take sannyasa. How it is possible to take sannyasa? First of all, you have to give up all your connections, your possessions, your money, your properties, your clothes, your cars, your family members. You have to cut off everything and go to the forest. And in the forest, you be in the cave or under a tree and be ready to die any minute, because no food will be available there and the tigers and lions and others may attack you any moment. Are you willing to do this? A lot of people will never go to forest. They will take sannyasa and go to some matham, a very comfortable air-conditioned room in some ashramam, and stay there. Their good food and good luxurious arrangements are there, and declare that they have taken sannyasa. But inside they are cherishing the enjoyments, they are having desires, they are having relationships, they are having emotions. So that is not true sannyasa. So you, in fact, you cannot give up everything in the first place. So that's what sannyasa karma yogascha nishreyasa karavubhav tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo visishyate. Oh Arjuna, you can do take up sannyas also. You can do karma yoga also, but among the two, karma yoga is superior to karma sannyasa. Yeyassa nitya sannyasi yonadveshchina kankshati. Who is a nitya sannyasi? A person who has no desires. Not a person who simply wears saffron cloths or go to the forest or sits under a tree or inside a cave. But a person who has no desires. Yeyassa nitya sannyasi yonadveshchina kankshati. Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho. Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Sankhya yoga pruthak bala pravadanti na panditaha. Egamapyasthita samyak ubhayor vindate phalam. Yat sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate. Ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yap pashyati sapashyati. So he who sees sannyasa and yoga as same, he alone is able to see in reality. Others are closing their eyes, they are keeping their eyes in darkness, because Sankhya Yoga Pruthak Bala Pravadanti. This Jnana and Yoga, that is Sankhya and Sannyasa and Karma Yoga, are different. Who will think like that? Only children will think. Fools will think. So Sankhya Yoga Pruthak Bala Pravadanti na Pandita Ekavapyasita Samyak Ubhayor Vindate Phalam. Yeyassa Nitya Sannyasi Yonadveshchina Kankshati. Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Yat sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate. Ekam sankhyan tu yogam yap pashyati sabha. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukhamaptu ayogatah. A person who takes sannyasa without yoga of any kind, we have Raja Yoga, we have Bhakti Yoga, we have Karma Yoga, we have Jnana Yoga. Without any of these yogas, if he takes sannyasa, then it is just a farce and it is full of misery, because he has no qualification to take sannyasa in the first place. Yoga yukto munir brahmana chirena adhigacchati. Whereas a yoga yukta, who is a yogi, karma yogi, jnana yogi, bhakti yogi, whatever, either one or more or combination of them, will be enlightened person, whether or not he has undertaken sannyasa as a swearing or a oath and become a monk in reality or not, it doesn't matter, because he has reached already a higher level above just plain sannyasa. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi nalityate. Who is a yogi? Yoga yukta means a yogi. Vishuddhatma vijitatma jiten. He is a pure soul. He has conquered himself. Vijitatma jitendriya sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi nalipyate. He is identifying himself with the Paramatma, who is the Atma of all bhutas. And such a yoga yukta, even if he performs all actions, it doesn't affect him. Kurvannapi nalipyate. It doesn't touch him. Naiva kinchit karomi iti manye. Yukto manye tatvavit. Pashyan shrunvan sujan jigran. Ashwan gachan swapan shwasan. Pralapan misrajan grunan unmishan nimishan napi. Indriyani indriyartheshu. Vartanta iti dharaya. Even though the eyes are operating, the nose is operating, the mouth is operating, the ears are operating, hands are operating, legs are operating, he feels he is doing nothing. Aniyam buludraguchun kuduchuchun, asalila bhashim puchun, asalila nidraduluzeyuchun, bhashim puchun, santata sri, narayana padammayuvali chintadratapana, visesha matta chittudai marachan, surarisutudai tad vishwamunpuva. A person who, like Prahlada, whose mind is fully absorbed in the Lord, while he appears to be doing all the various activities which a king would do, he forgot this world completely. So in the same way, Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyet tattvavit, pasyarunvan sanjigran ashvan gachan swapan shwasan, pralapan visujan gandhan unmishan nimishan napi, indriyani indriyardheshu vartanta iti dharayan, brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam chakva karoti yaha lipyatena sapapena padma paramivam tasa. This is a highlight of today's chapter 5, sloka number 10. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam chaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapapena padma patramivambhasa. If you keep everything onto the Lord, Brahman means Bhagavan, Krishna or Vishnu or Parabrahman or absolute reality, truth, Satchidananda. Brahmani adhaya karmani mayeva manadhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva ataurdham na samshaya. If you keep your mind in me, if you keep your intellect in me, you live in me, you are in a high level and you are not affected by whatever you are doing. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva, giving up attachment, karotiyaha, lipyate na sapapena, he will not be touched by the papa, sin of his actions. Please note, this sloka does not mean you should perform sins. Whatever actions you are performing as a part of your dharma, as a part of your duty. In the case of Arjuna, it is fighting a war. In our case, luckily we don't have to fight any wars of like Arjuna. We may have to fight at the most small wars between our husband and wife, or between son and father, or between colleague and colleague or boss. In the small wars only. You don't have to kill anybody. But whatever wars we are fighting, because life is a war. Morning you get up, you keep on fighting for water, for current, for this, for that, for traffic, for petrol, for pollution. Everything is a war. But luckily, these are small wars. We don't have to kill anybody. At the most, we get killed by these things, but we don't have to kill anybody except mosquitoes. So, Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karotyaha lipyate nasa papena. The wars which you fight, or the dharma which you perform, the job which you do, the actions which you perform. Like, for example, a doctor is there. A doctor is treating patients. If it is taken as a dharma, service, to save the humanity, then it will not affect him. But if he takes it as a profit-making mechanism, I'll save the life only if I get so much money, otherwise I'll allow him to die. That is a sinful act. So, based on dharma, Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam chaktva karotyaha, because the Lord Brahman is dharmi. He is following dharma and dharmi, both in Vishnu Sahasranama, dharma and dharmi, both words are used for the Lord. If you are dedicating everything yourself to the Lord and you are performing your duty, obviously you will not be performing adharma. It is assumed that. I am just underlining the fact, though it is not mentioned in this sloka. Vivekananda gave a wonderful analogy. An expert dancer will not put a wrong step. So this person he is talking about is an expert dancer. He will not put wrong steps. He will not perform sinful acts. He will not perform adharmic acts. And therefore you cannot say, even if he performs sins, he will be relieved. It's not like that. While doing his duty, while doing his dharma, if anything happened by chance, he will not be held responsible. Kayena varsa vacham indriye kevalayir indriyerapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam chaktva atma shuddhaye. So with all instruments, we have the instrument of this body, we have the instruments of our speech, we have the instrument of our mind, kayena manasa buddhya, we have the instrument of our intellect, the ability to think and deduce and conduct research and ideate and create. So the intellect, buddhi, either through buddhi or through just ordinary mind or through the senses, kevalayir indriyairapi, kayena manasa buddhya, kevalayir indriyairapi, yoginah karma kurvanti sangam chaktva. Yogis will perform all actions without attachment. No sangam. Sangam chaktva atma shuddhaya. Then why are you performing? You have no interest, you have no attachment. Why are you performing? Atma shuddhaye, for purification. So that is why service-oriented approach. You know, these people in Gurudwaras, they have what is called kar seva. They will go and clean the shoes of all the people who came there, or they will go and cook in the langar, or they will go and serve the food in the food hall, or they will go and wash the clothes. Kar seva. So this is seva, service-oriented approach. Why they are doing all that? It is for atma shuddhi, for purification, for cleaning up the previous sins. So whatever actions we are doing, it should be done with a service-oriented approach, serving the society. When Swami Vivekananda said you should be thankful to the society or to a person who is permitting you to serve that person. Otherwise, whom will you serve? So if you serve somebody or the society, then you are performing a great deed, a great dharma. And if you do it without attachment, you are performing for purification. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalair indriyairapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam chakva atma shuddhaye. So all the managers, all the project managers and group managers and various directors should remember this point. They should do whatever they do as a service. In fact, this is just a matter of attitude. I would say every action is a service. Supposing there is a company which is making cars. Supposing the car is not there at all, then what will happen to society? People cannot use a car to travel to even to hospital, anywhere. So car production, car company is also serving the society. If this is the attitude taken by the owners and the employers and the managers, that they are serving the society, then their arrogance, ego, and jealousy and conflict, fighting, all this will not be there. Because you are doing a kar seva in a gurudwara, in the same way you are doing a kar seva in your company. A teacher is teaching as a seva for the education and uplifting of the children or uneducated, ignorant people in the society. It is not that out of ego or arrogance. So whatever they get in remuneration, it is a different issue. But if you have the service-oriented approach, then you are freed from all obsessions, all consequences of that obsession. That is karma bandha. That's what he explained in the 3rd chapter. Yukta karma phalam chakva shanti mapnoti naishthigim ayukta karma karena phale sakto nibajjate. This karma yoga, which was told right in the 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, is also being explained in the 5th chapter now. Yukta karma phalam chakva shanti mapnoti naishthigim. I perform my duty perfectly as per dharma. I don't care what will happen at the end of this time. So Arjuna, you should fight the war without worrying whether you will win or not, whether what will happen, whether so and so will die or whether so and so will not die. That is not your duty. Your duty is to fight. You do your duty. Whatever happens finally is not in your hands. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma ma te samgostva karmani. Sarva karmani manasa. Now before I go that, let me explain this more. Yukta karma phalam chakva shanti mapnoti naishthigim ayukta karma karena phale sakto nibadhyate. What if you don't have karma yoga approach? What if you don't have service oriented approach? What if you don't have detachment? Then you are going to pay the price. If you are attached, you are obsessed, then you will be depressed with the results. The results could be either pleasant or unpleasant. If they are unpleasant, you will be depressed and you will be shocked and you will be affected. You may even fall sick and you may die also. Or you may commit suicide. But if you are not affected by the consequences, it will not have any effect on you. Because it is a foolish thing. In fact, in the 2nd chapter, he has Krupana Phalahetavaha. Very stupid people, pitiable people will be obsessed with the results. Buddhi yukto jahati hubhe sukrita duskrute tasmad yoga yujhasva yoga karma sukausalam. This is a skill in action. What is that skill in action? Buddhi yukto jahati hubhe sukrita duskrute. You are not going to be dependent on the plus or minus result coming out of the entire sequence of actions. Your contribution only one small part. So many others contributions are there. So many other forces are acting. Finally, the result will be something else which is totally beyond you. And if you are obsessed with it, then you may get terribly upset if the result is not what you expected. So when not that always what you expect will come out, even though you have performed your duty perfectly, even though you prepared very well for IIT, it does not mean you will get in IIT, because getting in IIT is a factor, is a function, depending on so many other factors, not only your efforts. You have done your effort, you will get your result to the extent of getting that knowledge. But the result of getting into IIT or getting into IAS is not in your hands. So it is a factor of so many causes are involved. So many factors will finally result the. So ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibajyate. So when you are the karma bandha, the karma bandha is so strong that you are born because of karma. We are here because of karma and we die because of karma and we'll be again born out of karma. So the karma bandha is a terrible thing. Because of karma bandha only we are suffering. All pains, all miseries, life, entire life is based on karma bandha. And if he is giving a solution how to escape from karma bandha. Ayukta kamakarena phalena sakto nibajjate yukta karma phalam chakva shanti mapnoti naishtikim. With his nishtha, he will get shanti, peace. Shantam leka saukyam ledu. Ashantasya kutas sukham. If you cannot have peace of mind, what is the use of having properties, money, children, or jobs, this, that, so many things? Peace of mind is ultimate. So peace of mind will come only if you are free from attachment to the results of your actions, while performing all actions perfectly according to your duty. Now, the next few slokas are very profound. They are bringing a jnana factor into it. How you can be independent of the results, how you can be free from the effects of karma. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya sriti prabhunna karmavala samyogancha swabhavastu pravartate. Now, very profound and very amazing statements. It is so shocking to see. He says a person can perform entire total sannyasa, renunciation, through his own mind. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vasi. Only such a person will be able to be happy. He will have control over his happiness. All others are going to be disturbed. They will suffer. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya. Physically, the karmas he is doing. But manasa sanyasya, he is totally freed from all karmas. Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karaya. Now, this is a very profound statement. In this city of 9 doors, the human body has 9 holes. So, in this city, the jiva, the amsha of Ishvara who lives there, Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashasthani Indriyani Prakritisthani Karshati. So my own amsha, Lord's Ishvara's own small spark of a big light is residing in this body, and that does not do anything, does not get obsessed with anything, does not get attached to anything. Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakarayat nakartrutvan nakarmani. So neither it does anything, nor it will be taking the ownership of anything. Na karma phala samyogancha swabhavastu pravartate. And even that attachment of phala is not essentially there by nature, by definition, by truth. It is not there. It is a mental imagination, mental ownership, mental obsession created due to ego, created due to ahankara, mamakara, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, all these negative emotions. We have discussed last time 10 negative emotions: ahankaram, mamakaram, ragam, dvesham, kama, krodham, lobham, moham, madam, matsaryam. So these negative emotions will make you feel as if you are the owner of your karma, as if you are the obsessed, anxious, waiting consumer of the results of the karmas or actions you are performing. Actually, the pure self, which is you, doesn't have all that. Na kartrutvam, na karmani lokasya, srujati prabhu, na karma phala samyogancha, swabhavastu pravartate, na datye kasyachit papam, na chaiva sukritam vibhu, ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantava. The last time we have discussed about what is jnana, and the opposite is ajnana. He says, due to ajnana, you are thinking you are doing all these things, you are thinking you are affected, you are thinking somebody abused you, your son abused you, your daughter abused you, or your brother abused you, or this happened, that happened, and you are suffering and you are grieving. All this is not really there because this pure self is not affected, is not connected with any one of these emotions, which are negative emotions, which are coming out of the trigunas. Sattvaras, tamogunas, mostly rajoguna and tamoguna, in the prakriti. Whereas you are Purusha, you are part of the Purusha, Satchidananda, Avyaya Purusha, Sakshi, Kshetrajno, Aksharayevacha. You are the self, you are not the prakriti. The prakriti is doing all these things, but you are still getting wrongly identified with Prakriti, and you are imagining you are having all these issues, all these problems, and that's because of ajnana. Ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah jnanena tu tad ajnanam yesham nashitum atmanah tesham adityavat jnanam prakashayati tat. So when jnana comes, as we discussed last time, when jnana comes, this ajnana will be finished. Because when light is there, no darkness can exist. Jnanendra tad ajnanam yesham nashitum atmanah tesham, among them, those jnana who have the jnana enlightenment in them, jnana will be radiant like sun. Adityavat jnanam prakashayati. Tad buddhayas tadatmanas tanishta tatparayana gachanti apunaravrtim jnana nirdhota kalmasha. So those who are fully established in jnana, tad buddhaya, tad atmanaha, they identify with jnana, tanishta tatpara, they, because they are identifying themselves with the pure self, which is nothing but a spark of the Lord, the Ishvara. Mai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashasthani indriyani praktisthani karshati. So once he realizes that he is the pure self, which is the part of Ishvara, then he is free. Tadbuddhaya stadatmanas tanishtha tatparayana gachanti apunaravrittim. He will reach a state of moksha from which there is no coming back. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane kavi hastini shunichaiva shvapake cha pandita samadarshana. And having reached that, then he will realize the same self in everyone, in a Brahmin or in a dog, or Vidya Sampanne Brahmine Gavi Hastini, or an elephant, or in a cow, or anything. The same self exists. So Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshinaha. Na Prahushyet Priyam Prapya Nodvijet Prapya Cha Priyam. We are talking of realized soul, enlightened soul, jnana yoga vyavasthiti is what we are talking about. Na prahishyet priyam prapya nodvijayat prapya cha priyam sthira buddhi rasam mudho brahmavid brahmani sthita. Brahmavid brahmaiva bhavati, this Upanishad vakyam. If you know Brahman, you become Brahman. So when you become Brahman, you are just not bothered because you are everything. You are the same person in your enemy also. Like Aravindo, when he was in the jail in Calcutta, he suddenly got an experience that Krishna is everywhere, everything. He realized that the people in the jail, the jailers, the police, the prisoners, all were Krishna. Everybody was appearing Krishna only. So, Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani. Once he sees that, that is, he has, Vidyavine Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sulichaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. In fact, this is an interesting story of Lord Shankaracharya when he was walking in the streets of Kashi. Suddenly, one Chandala came with 4 dogs, and all the disciples of Adi Shankaracharya told him, go away, gacha, gacha. Then he asked a question, Annamaya Annamayaha. O Acharya, this Annamaya Kosha is same as your Annamaya Kosha, because also you are also eating food and it is surviving by food, and this is also the surviving by Athava Chaitanya Chaitanyameva. Or if you are talking of the pure self, Chaitanya, my Chaitanya is pure self and your Chaitanya is pure self, both are same. Then whom are you asking to go away? This question the Chandala asked Adi Shankaracharya. Then Adi Shankaracharya replies, Deham Prana, that is Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Spadataraya Samidujrumbhate, Ya Brahmadi Pipilikantan Suprota Jagat Sakshini, Saivaham Nacha Društavaspiti, Drudaprajnayasya Stiche Chandalostu, Satu Dvijostu, Guru Rityesha Manishala. He who knows that in all the 3 states of existence, waking, dream, and sleep, Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu, Spadataraya Samvit, that pure intelligence, spark of intelligence, which is continuously there in all the 3 changing states. Vijrumbhate, ya brahmadi vipilikantan suprokta. The same pure self spark of intelligence is there in every living being, right from a small amoeba to Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. That self, I am that, natu društavastu. I am not this visible body and other paraphernalia, but I am the pure self. He who knows this, whether he is Chandala or whether he is Brahmana, he is my Guru. So Adi Shankaracharya fell on the feet of that Chandala who asked that question. Who was that Chandala in reality? He was not Chandala. He was Lord Shiva himself who appeared like this. This is called Manisha Panchakam. 5 wonderful statements of conviction. Manisha means conviction, made by Adi Shankaracharya. That oneness of the Paramatma is experienced by the Jnana Yogi, who is also Karma Yogi, and therefore he will be freed from all effects. Na prahrishyet priyam prapya nodvijet prapya chapriyam. Whether something pleasant has happened or something unpleasant has happened, he is not going to be affected. Sthira buddhi asammudho brahmavit brahmani sthitaha bahya sparshe swasaktatma vindat atmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sthiram akshayam asnute. Now this is a very important explanation. We are getting diverted to the external world with eyes and ears and nose and all the enjoyments and attractions. And if you are getting more and more enthusiastic about the external enjoyments, you will also feel the sufferings. Indriyamula cheto neggundu chundedu verri manujudella vedaku shivuni. You will never understand who is Shiva, where is Lord. So Indriyamula rosi ishuni judara. If you stop all this and go into yourself, that is the deep state of meditation, samadhi, achieved through the yoga process of Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, Bahya Sparshes, Asaktatma, Vindat Atmani Yat Sukham, Pratyahara, Dharana, Jhana, Samadhi. Pratyahara itself means going into yourself. So when you go into deeper into yourself, Bahya Sparshes, Asaktatma, Vindat Atmani Yat Sukham, so Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, Sthiram Akshayam Asnute. He will reach this permanent, because Brahman is permanent, Akshayam, Aksharam, Sthiram, Asnute. Then once he reaches that Brahmananda, he will not find any meaning for all other small pleasures. Yehi samsparsh praja bhoga dukkhayo na evate adjantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate bhutaha. Because these are all temporary, they have a beginning and an end. The same thing will become a pain. The same so-called pleasure will become a pain after short period of time. So there is no point in running after so-called pleasures in the external world. The real pleasure is Ananda, Atma Sukha, Atmananda, which is there. Yo Antasukho, Antararamastaha, Antarjyotirevaya, Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam, Brahmabhuto Adhigachati. So the real Antasukha, internal bliss, Lavante Brahma Nirvanam, Rishaya Kshena Karmasha, Chinna Dvaidhayatatmana Sarvabhuta Hiterata, Kamakrodha Vyuktanam. So the people who achieved that Brahmanandam, Brahma Sakshatkaram, Atma Sakshatkaram inside, they will reach Nirvana, Moksha, Brahma Nirvanam, Rishayaha. They are the Rishis. Only Rishis can reach Kshina Kalmasha, those who have finished all their sinful acts, results, suffering. Chinna Dvaidha, they have transcended the dualities. Yatatmanaha, they have controlled themselves. Sarva Bhuta Hiter. Because they are seeing oneness with everybody, everything, Sarva Bhuta. They will be interested in Sarva Bhuta Hiterata. Same thing in 12th chapter also is it. Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitra Karuna Evacha. Through Bhakti Yoga also same thing will be reached. Through Jnana Yoga also same thing will be reached. Through Raja Yoga also same thing will be reached. Through Karma Yoga also same thing will be reached. Atma Sakshatkaram, Brahma Sakshatkaram, Moksham, Nirvana. Kamakrodha Vyuktanam, Yatinam, Yatachetasam, Abhito Brahma Nirvanam, Vartate Viditatmanam. The Brahma Nirvana, Moksha will be reached by the self-realized souls. Viditatmanam. Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. Kamakrodha Vyuktanam, Yatinam, Yatachetasam. Yatachetasam. Please note those who have controlled their mind. Because why? Because the mind is the root cause of all the problems. When the mind is controlled, completely stopped, then you are in yourself. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Vritti sarupe mitarata. Otherwise, you are identifying with the thoughts. I am this, I am that, I want this, I want that. You are lost into the world and you are suffering. I don't have to tell you how much we are suffering, what we are suffering. We are suffering every second. Janma dukkham, jara dukkham, jaya dukkham, punah punah samsara, sagaram dukkham. This life is an ocean of misery. And how to come out of it is only through this self-realization process, kama krodha viyuktana, without getting carried away by kama and krodha, and having self-control. Yatinam yatachetasam adhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam sparshan krutva bahirbahyam chakshushveva antare bhruvoh pranapano gatiruddha समाकृत्वा नासाभ्यंतर चारिणो यतेन्द्रिय मनोबुद्धि मुनिर मोक्ष परायणः विगतेच्छा भय क्रोधो यस सदा मुक्त एव सः. So if you are able to reach the internal samadhi state, kama krodha viktanam yatinam yatachetasa anto brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam sparshan krutva bahirbah. Now that process, the technique, the steps, the sequential steps involved, which is yoga, is explained in brief here. Sparshan krutva bahirbahyam chakshushveva antare bhruvo, fixing the gaze on the bhrumajja, going into yourself. Pranapano samo krutva, pranayam, having performed pranayama. Nasabhyantara charino yatendriya mano buddhi, having controlled manas and buddhi. Munihi moksha parayanaha, having no desires, having only one objective of reaching moksha. Vigatecha bhaya krodho yasadam. A person like that who has given up, who has conquered, transcended ichha, bhaya and krodha, three things. You can have a test for yourself whether you are liberated or not. If you have transcended ichha, bhaya and krodha, that is desires of all kinds and fears of all kinds, angers of all kinds. You are liberated, you are in the state of samadhi, you are liberated. Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantamujjati. Such a person in the state of self-realization, he will see me, that is the Lord, in everything. Sarva loka maheshwaram, the Lord of the entire universe. Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam, the most friendly person is the Lord himself. Sarvabhutanam jnatva, see me in every being around you, not only in Vaikuntha. If you go, nobody can reach Vaikuntha because it is millions and millions and millions of kilometers away. We cannot even travel 100 kilometers in a day. We are so weak. Now, the only way to reach is to go into yourself because the Lord resides in yourself. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hruddeshe bhartadishtari brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. So once you are established in yourself, that is the seat of the Lord. Adonishta vitasyante nabhyam uparadishtati jwalamala kritam bhati vishwasyayatanam mahat. So that Sabrahma Sashiva Sahari Sendra Sokshara Paramas Virat, that principle of God, that spark of light, which is in the heart of every Nihito Guhayam, if you can reach it and be established in it, you are freed, you are liberated. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhavadgeeta Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Samiti Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga Nama Panchamodhyaya. And in the next session, this last sloka, which he has meant, two slokas, Yatendriya Mano, Sparshan Krutva Bahirbahim Chakshushvevantare Bhruvo Pranapano Gatiruddha Nasabhyantara Charino Yatendriya Mano Buddhi Munir Moksha Parayanaha Vigatecha Bhaya Krodho Yasada Mukta Eva Saha. This will be explained in the entire chapter 6. How that process of going into yourself, the process of meditation, the process of pranayama, the process of thought control, stopping the thoughts, and the process of concentration on Bhrumarja and going into yourself, the entire technique of dharana, jhana, samadhi will be explained in the 6th chapter. This is the Yoga Shastra Srimad Bhavadgeeta. It is Srimad Bhavadgeetasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishnabhina Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga Nama Panchamodhyaya.
प्रसंग समाप्तम्। हरि ओम. धन्यवादः महोदय. प्रभु महोदय धन्यवादः. नमस्कारः. So it's a very important lecture and which gives the insights of the Karma Sannyasa Yoga Panchama fifth Adhyayam of the Bhavadgeeta, which gives the major qualities that are to be developed by an individual while doing his duties either in the society or in the samsaram or in the companies, wherever he is. What are the qualities he should develop to be not attached to the works that he is doing, but at the same time deliver his responsibilities in a perfect manner. So what are the qualities he should develop? That has been very clearly indicated in 2-3 things. Before we go into those things of my views, I request others to indicate their doubts or their views on this chapter and interact with Dr. Prabhu. I invite everybody, please. There are so many people. Dr. Murthy Garu is there, Ramaya Garu is there. Very senior people are there who worked, who spend their whole time of life in management in the companies, government companies, private companies. They have spent their whole life. They know how they lived, how they faced the problems in the companies when they are working with high tension and work ethics and all those things. How they faced them, how Bhavadgeeta can help this to tackle those situations. You can interact with Dr. Prabhu. If you have got any doubts, get it clarified, please.
Somebody raised a hand.
Yeah, Murthy, please. Murthy, please put it. Unmute his matter.
సభకి నమస్కారం. చాలా చక్కగా చెప్పారు. బిజినెస్ అనేటటువంటిది ట్రెడిషనల్ బిజినెస్ ఎలా ఉండేది, అది అలా ఉండేది ఆ రోజుల్లో. వాళ్ళ ధర్మసత్రాలు కానీ పెద్ద పెద్ద పనులు చేశారంటే బిజినెస్ మెన్ చేశారు. ఇవాళ కూడా వాళ్ళే చేస్తున్నారు. కొత్త వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే కొత్త బిచ్చం పొద్దారు కదా అని జేబులోకి ఎంత పోతుందని అంత మటుకే చూసుకుంటారు. కానీ మనకి ఇంత డబ్బులు ఇచ్చినటువంటి వాళ్ళు ప్రపంచానికి మనం వెనక్కి ఏమి ఇస్తున్నాం అనే జ్ఞానం లేదు. అది మీరు చక్కగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు. ఆ ఒక్క పాయింట్ పట్టుకుంటే మొత్తం బిజినెస్ అంతా బ్రహ్మాండంగా మారిపోతుంది. అసలు ప్రపంచమే మారిపోతుంది. చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు సార్. అది మాత్రము అదే మంత్రముగా దాన్ని జపించుకుంటే తప్ప ఈ లోకం బాగుపడదు. ఈ కమ్యూనిస్టులు, క్యాపిటలిస్టులు ఎవరు ఏమి చేయలేరు. దే ఆర్ జస్ట్ ఫిలాసఫర్స్. దే డోంట్ నో వాట్ ఈజ్ లైఫ్. అంతే. కొంచెం కఠినంగా మాట్లాడాను, కానీ మీరు చాలా మంచి మాటలు చెప్పారు. దీన్ని మనం ఎంతమందికి చేర్చగలం అనేటటువంటిది ఒక ప్రణాళిక వేసుకొని మనం చేస్తే చాలా ఉపయోగం ఉంటుంది అని నా ఉద్దేశం సార్. చాలా మంచిగా చెప్పారు. చాలా బాగుంది. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
ధన్యవాదాలు మూర్తి గారు. నమస్కారం. ఎనిబడి ఎల్స్?
సార్ నమస్కారం గురుగారు.
నమస్కారం. మాట్లాడండి. ఎనిబడి ఎల్స్ ప్లీజ్?
Sir, yoga karmasu kausalam. Yoga is skill in action. Please explain it more.
Yes. Now you see, when you perform action, if you are immature, if you are not a yogi or you are not a jnani or you are not evolved, if you are doing ordinarily with obsessions, with emotional involvement, with dependencies, with ahankaram, mamakaram, raga, ego, and all these negative tendencies, which is normally the case, then you are bound to have problems. Without yoga, the problems will be of various kinds. First thing is the way you treat your team members, either with arrogance or with ego, and the push which you give, and thirdly, secondly, the objective, as if you are going to do something, either do or die, or kind of obsession with what will happen at the outcome, are worried all the time about the outcome rather than the work on hand. This is the main principle. Whatever work on hand is there, if you focus on the quality of the work, then automatically result will come according to the quality of the input work. But if you don't do that, but you are obsessed with the result first before the quality of the work, then you will be a failure. So yoga karmasu kaushalam has many meanings. One meaning is to perform with skill, whatever you are doing with complete skill while focusing on it. Second thing is you perform it without obsession to the results, ultimate results, not immediate work. Result is part of the work, but ultimate result. That is psychological maturity, determination, and wisdom. The third thing is a spiritual matter, which is your own individual welfare. Because you see, in the larger sense, not just work in the office or work in garden or work in kitchen or not that kind of work, but karma as a whole, your whole life. Because today you are in what you are is a result of your past karma. Karma muna puttu jantu, karma muna judge. You are born out of past karma, you will die out of your karma. And again you will be born out of karma and again you will die. So this karma bandham will tie you down all through one life after another life. So this endless birth and death cycle, which is this cycle is recognized not only in Hindu philosophy, but also in Buddhist philosophy, in Jain philosophy, even in Abrahamic religions. Originally it was recognized, but due to some political reasons, it was removed. Yesterday only I came to know that Constantine and others, they removed it so that the church will get the greater grip and not karma. They wanted to tell that the church itself will control the fate of the people and not that people's own karma. Because the cause and effect relationship, karma is the cause of your present, past karma is the cause of the present, and present karma is the cause of the future state of your existence. So a person who is doing, because you cannot stop doing karma, even for 1 second. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarma krut. Karyate havashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunai. You will be forced to do all karma because your breathing will be forced. Your drinking water, eating food, taking water, all these things will be done by force. And your mind will be thinking. You cannot sit idle. You have to do some work. And whatever work you do, you will have a requirement. You will have a desire. So you will have to do work. So, but at the same time, you want to escape from the bondage coming out of karma bandham. Then yoga karma kaushalam is the third meaning, which says that smart way of performing, smart action. Kaushalam can be interpreted as skill or smartness. If you are wise, smart and wise, then you will be doing like anybody else, but you will not be affected by its results. Karma yogi, that's what Krishna told. I don't have to do anything, but I am doing everything. He conducted a world war without having any interest in it. So he is not affected with the karma phalam. So a person buddhi yukto jahatiha ube sukruta dushkute tasmat yoga is just a yoga karma kaushalam. This is second chapter statement. So you even perform a big war, but you are not interested. You are doing with detachment, and therefore you will not be bound by the consequences. You will not get another birth because of this obsession, or you will not get suffering because of that karma sangha, attachment. So that is the third interpretation of smartness of doing action, doing all karmas perfectly with skill, with smartness and wisdom.
Thank you, sir.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, sir. I'm Anamika, and this is the first time I'm attending your lecture. So my question is, how do we know whether the action that we are performing is not product of our ego, and it is the action that we are supposed to do? So when do we draw a line between the action done by ego and when it is the right thing to do?
No, can you repeat? There was some disturbance in yours.
When do we get to know that the action that we are performing is an act of ego, or it is the action that is we are required to do? So when can we distinguish between the
Yeah,
the
you see, normally everybody performs all actions with ego only. Please note this. See, without ego, it is impossible for an ordinary being to perform any action. Normally, unless there is an enlightened person, sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi. So, unless you are having enlightenment, it is not possible for you to perform actions without ego. Everybody is performing with ego only. Either you submit your ego submission to the Lord. That is Bhakti Yoga. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi. Now that the other Bhakti Yoga is Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. You surrender everything to the Lord. You do it as a duty given by the Lord, enjoined by the Lord to perform. You do it Krishna Brahmarpanam, Brahmavir, Brahmagno, Brahmana, Krishnarpanam. That is one way. The other way is you are enlightened, so enlightened, Sarvakarmani Manasa Sanyasyaste. Though you are doing everything, you have no interest. You have already renunciated because you are enlightened. You are in Jnana Yogi. In both the possibilities of being Jnana Yogi and Bhakti Yogi, it is possible to perform without ego. And that is Karma Yoga. Without obsession to attachment to the results.
So essentially, when we are not connected to the outcome of the action, that is the action, the right action. That's what it means.
Exactly.
It's Karma Yoga.
Right.
Exactly told. I agree with
Perform the
that.
action without obsession, attachment to the ultimate result of the action, but focusing only on the work on hand, immediate duty and responsibility to be delivered perfectly.
Nishkama karma. Nishkama karma, when you do it, the ahankaram ego is not there.
Right. Thank you.
Sangan chaktva, that word is very important. Sangan chaktva is very important word. That sangan chaktva, when it is there, automatically the ego is out. Anybody else? Barali Mohan.
Sir.
Yeah.
Namaste, sir. Sakshi Bhotam seems to be the correct idea. May I correct or not?
Sakshi Bhutam with jnana or with bhakti. So surrender to the Lord, your ego, and you perform your duty as dharma, whatever dharma demands and commands. You do that. You cannot avoid. Karmanyevadhikariste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhur ma te sangostu akarmani. You cannot say, I will be simply sakshi, I will not do anything. You cannot say that because you have to do.
No.
So
No.
while doing perfectly your dharma, your duty, delivering it, without ego, without attachment to the ultimate result, surrendering to the Lord, or having the enlightenment of oneness with the Lord and oneness with everyone. It is a maturity, greater, higher level of enlightenment and maturity. I'll give you a simple example. Suppose there's an apartment complex and a lot of children are playing in the complex parking. They are playing cricket with small bat and small ball, small children. And now suddenly an adult like me goes there and then wants to enjoy, and he also plays with them cricket, a small bat and small ball. What will happen? There'll be some runs and some winning wickets, this, that, all that will happen. So whenever something happens there, those small children take it very seriously. They have attachment, obsession, ego, everything attached to those steps of that game. They'll either cry or they'll feel very happy, elated, etc., depending on the result. But a person like me who has gone there just for fun to play with them, I will not be affected. Whether I lost the game, whether I got more runs or less runs, it doesn't matter to me because I am mature, I am knowledgeable, I am wise enough. It is something like that between, like Lord Krishna performed all his actions like Kridavastvakilam Jagat, Shrutirajna Vapurjnanam Tam Vande Devaki. He performed the entire life as a sport. He had no interest just for fun. That is Sangam Chaktva Dhananji. This is an example I am giving of matured, enlightened action of.
No,
Murthy garu,
till
please.
last breath of life, everybody we have to compel to do karma. Am I correct, sir?
Correct.
But that karma will give again results again. It takes another life. Am I correct?
What is that?
While doing karma till last breath, so it will give the again results. Am I correct?
Yes, actually,
That results will give
exactly.
again.
No, depending on the karma till the last minute of your this present life, your next life will be decided.
Am I correct?
Yes, in fact, your horoscope shows that.
That exactly that time that we have to be in Sachi Bodha while doing the karma, we have to be Sachi Bodha. Then karma will not be next life basement. Am I correct?
Sakshi Bhuta is necessary but not sufficient in my view.
Because we should not create another basement of next life. For
Correct.
that purpose,
So,
we have to do
Sakshi
work.
Bhuta-
We have to do karma.
No, being Sakshi Bhuta is okay, is a good thing, but jnana will be required for that.
Exactly. That naturally. That is only main.
Correct.
Exactly. Thank you.
So we are playing
Thank
with the word Sakshibhuta or the Sankan Chakva, all Sannyasa, all these are synonymous words. So the understanding of the subject is very important on this. See, next, Murthy garu, namaskar.
Sir, namaskaram, Prabhuji and Prabhakarji. My thinking is one in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Lord Krishna said about the qualities of the people, the tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. Is the qualities of these type of qualities will come by birth? Okay, birth, all the three qualities will come. People will be generated. But my thing is in the Bhagavad Gita, the characters like Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and Arjuna have been sequenced for these qualities, how it will be between a leader and a teacher. So how they behave, how these sattvic, rajasic, and qualities will fluctuate. My thinking now is it the qualities will come by birth, or can we regenerate the people to make it sattvic by training or rigorous training and preaching in the colleges, students, and all that? Because in the American universities, Stanford University, Harvard, all these things are taught, and they at least recollect and how to make it they think. But Indian institutions and universities, colleges, we are not teaching these type of qualities, how the people can be converted into sattvic ways. That can we make it? If it is it possible to convert the people from say rajasic to sattvic? That is my Prabhu can kindly please analyze this.
Yes, very good question, sir. Last time
sir.
also you referred to the similar point. Now you are asking a question. Last time you made an observation about different types of personalities, but now you are asking a question of transforming.
Yes.
But first point I want to tell is this. This chapter you have referred, it's not chapter 15, but it's 14.
Okay.
14th chapter gives the Gunatraya Vibhaga. All the gunas are described in detail.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So that's okay. So the gunas, 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, they are part of Prakriti. Sattvam, Rajas, Tama iti guna Prakriti sambhava nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avayam. So they are tying you up, tying you down in this body, and they are part of nature. They are not ordinary things. They are part of Prakriti. They are permanent fixations in the nature. And they cannot be escaped or avoided or anything like that. They will be there, automatically there. And in what circumstances, how these three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, are manifesting is described in detail in chapter 14. So when we go there, we will discuss in food. What kind of food will give sattva guna? What kind of food will give rajo guna? What kind of food will give tamo guna? It's clearly described. Yatayavam gatara samputi parijustim uchishtavam chavedhyam bhojanam tamasa priyam khatvam lachushnatik sharuksha vidahinaha ahara rajasasyeshtha dukkha shokamaya pradaha. So, if you are trying to transform the person, the first thing is food.
Okay.
Unless you take sattvic food, you cannot get sattvic qualities.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, by birth itself, people get those qualities. And in fact, the Brahmana is supposed to be sattva guna pradhana. All people will have all the three qualities. Sattva, rajas, tamas are there in everybody. But which is more dominant? Which is less dominant is the question. Brahmana is supposed to have sattva guna pradhana. Kshatriya is supposed to be rajo guna pradhana. Sudra is supposed to be tamo guna pradhana, and Vaishya is in between Kshatriya and Sudra. So, but that is only pradhanatva, because in the whole day, the gunas will be changing. Early morning after the bath, it will be sattva guna, even for Sudras, or even for Brahmanas. And in the night, even Brahmanas will fall into tamo guna. So, time factor, and therefore the discipline, the practices, the anushtanam, sandhyavandanam, pranayamam, all the yoga, all this contributes to the three guna states. Food also I already told. So it is a complex combination of your lifestyle itself for modifying this guna. It is possible to modify. That is how people, like you might have heard of various instances, like Valmiki himself. How he became a great saint from a sinner, Daku. And how Narada became a Devarishi from a Shudra boy originally. So, and I have seen myself, some people, the Arya Samaj people, they take small boys from backward classes. They take to Kashi, then teach them Samskrita Vyakaranam, this, that, Vedas. Really, after 40 years, that person will be a Vedic scholar. You will not even imagine that this person was born in a small cowherds or shepherd's house at that time.
Oh.
So it is all transformation is possible. It is being done. So by birth itself, your karma itself has decided your birth. And now after birth, you go on. Like one day, Pulal Garu made a very profound statement to me. That was the last meeting I had. Okay, karma muna puttu jantu, karma muna jachu, but animals cannot change their karma. Animal has to suffer the karma. But human being is different. Human being has the vivekam and he has got the karma in his hand to perform, to change his past karma.
Sir.
So that is by practicing the sattva guna. Basically, there are two things: punya karma and sattva guna. By performing punya karma, you are increasing your level, and by maintaining sattva guna, you are increasing your level. So, maximum possible, you should maintain sattva guna and punya karma.
Okay.
So that is the responsibility of the gurus and the brahmanas as such. That is that section itself is mentioned for that purpose. They are supposed to do this enlightenment to the public who are not in that line. For that purpose, the brahmanas are supposed to be in that line, and they perform, and they ajjayanam and ajjapanam.
Correct.
They both are involved in their responsibilities. So when that is died, the whole society goes to dogs.
Manusmriti
been
gave
done.
3
That's what-
responsibilities of Brahmana. Pathanam, Pathanam, Yajanam, Yajanam. Not only learning and teaching, but also performing yajna and making others perform yajna.
So it is
And
possible.
giving dhanam and taking dhanam. The 3 Brahmana dharmas, and Kshatriya dharma is fighting a war and all those things. And Vaishya dharma is business and Krishi Gaurakshana. Like this, they have given. Of course, these are not 100% strictly by birth, but they will be very much influenced by the birth. But they can also be influenced by the training, by upbringing.
Yeah, this especially the training is to put the industrial sectors where the HRs should take up this type of practices for the workers and executives, so that transformation in the productivity and quality will improve. That's what I felt.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yoga practice also will help in
Yeah.
transcending from tamoguna and rajoguna to sattva.
Yes.
Yoga practices, mind calming down and pranayama and all these things, and cleaning the body and asanas, they will transform the person from tamoguna, rajoguna to sattva.
That's good. Thank you.
And also the yajna, yajno danas tapaschaya pavanani manishinam, tapaschariyas, all types of tapaschariyas, fasting or praying or japam, so many processes are there, alternatives, which will all improve the sattva guna. All punya karma improves to sattva guna. All tapaschariyas improve sattva guna. All yoga abhyasas improve sattva guna.
The birth itself is based on Sanchitam, Sanchita Karma. Sanchita Karma decides the ratio of Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. Sanchita Karma, whatever it is there for Purvajanam Karma, it is there. That decides the ratio of Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas in us. So every birth is a mixture of these 3 gunas. And the ratio, how much it comes, how much Nishpatti it will be there, that is based on the Sanchitam which you have done in the last Janmas rather. So that based on that this happens. That is Prakriti. Prakriti nothing but Trigunatmakam. Trigunatmakam Panchabhutatmakam. So that is Prakriti. So now let us come into the
after birth, it is possible to perform samskaras.
Perform this based on this.
That's higher and higher from lower to higher.
That's why the basic rule is given to the public, to the society, as a Bhavadgeeta also says. Nishkama karma chayi. You do the Nishkama karma. Samaj seva, Sattvagunam, what is Sattvagunam? Sattvagunam is doing Niswardha seva, is Sattvagunam. So that Sattvaguna people who are there, they are the people who lead the society to in the right direction.
Correct.
And make the people convert to the Sattvagunam in their way of life.
Correct.
That if that is killed, that's why the British has tried to kill that society, so that this culture get died up. That we have to realize that we have to realize that concept and bring back that society which establishes the Samajika Seva.
Yeah,
Now,
I was telling you right at the beginning,
service-oriented
approach, SOA.
Yeah.
That is essential because you see, I was telling you last time also about the Dharma Yoga framework. If you perform any action with adharma, ahankar, mamkar, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madama, they are all due to rajoguna and tamoguna. All your actions in the company or in the office or at home or in class or anything what you do, if you perform with any of these 10 or one or more of these 10, ahankar, mamkar, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, madama, then there will be a rajoguna, tamoguna based and the results will be negative. On the contrary, if you neutralize by observing in meditation what kind of emotions, thoughts you are getting, whether you are jealousy thoughts or whether greed or whether it's anger, whether it's lust, and then neutralize with by replacing it with the opposite after observing it carefully for some time. That means anger opposite is love and greed opposite is charity. So like that, when you bring the opposite is dharma principles or daivi sampat or yamaneva. So when you bring the opposites, this will be neutralized. Then you are freed, like a small child is free from encumbrances. Then what should be your attitude towards work is service oriented. Because you serve the society, you serve the man's manav seva, madhav seva. You can serve the Lord only through serving the society. You cannot Go to Tirupati and serve the Lord. They not allow you to stand there even for 10 seconds.
Work is worship. Yes.
If you go to Tirupati with great difficulty, not even 3 seconds you'll be allowed to stand there.
Yeah.
You'll be beaten up and driven away. So how
coming
can
to
you
the
serve the
fifth
Lord?
chapter.
You have to serve the Lord only through the human beings.
Okay, let us coming to the fifth chapter, the Karma Sannyas Yoga. I would like to share some ideas, practical way of the management which is connected to this. I want to say what are the words that are used here and which are related to our management principles. Karma Sannyasa, and then Sannyasastu Mahabaho. This where the కర్మయోగం అనుష్ఠింపగా సన్యాసం మనసు ఇంద్రియములు శరీరముల ద్వారా జరు కర్మలన్నింటినీ యంత్రం కర్తృత్వం వహించి చయించుట. This kartucha chaktam is another important as karma sannyasam means what? Sangam chaktvam, that is important. That is one point they told. And jitendriyaha, the person should be jitendriyaha. And why? And then samadarshanaha, and then padmapatra mibambhasa, and then these are the important china kalmasha. These are the important words that are to be caught and which gives a lot of meaning in management principles. Mainly, for example, in any company, in any activity, there will be 4 or 5 departments, 4 or 5 sections. Finance section, marketing section. The marketing section is worried about targets. Finance section is worried about funds availability. And material section is worried about timings, availability of material. Procurement sections. Procurement section, availability of materials. Production section, availability of qualities. So every section has got their own tensions. And understanding these tensions and blaming and understanding equals responsibilities. And because of these things, people get into tensions and getting BP and health and all those things. But when they can handle these things properly, when they can be properly manage these things, how they can come out of these tensions, that this Sangam Chaktva gives the meaning. Samadarshanaha gives the meaning. The Samadarshanaha, whatever, how much responsibility you have got in your work, the same responsibility has got other man's work. The other man is not contributing to you, or you're not, and feeling that and having enmity with that fellow and getting to the tensions. And that results into Kama Krodha, that last one. Kama Krodha Vyuktanam. And that results into those things. So if once you understand the Samadarshanaha, and once you understand the Padmapatra Mevambhasa, Tamarak Med Niti Bandhu, like that, when you understand these qualities in you, automatically you will understand the responsibility of yourself and the responsibility of other department. When you understand the responsibility of this, each individual departments, then automatically the enmity between the departments, the hatred between the departments, this will be reduced. If that is reduced, individual tensions will come down. Individuals tensions come down, the health will be, the people will be good. The BPs will not come. People will not get tension. The handling of your tensions is main point, one of the important points that is working, underlying these principles of Padmapatra Mevambhasa and Samadarshanaha.
Very correct, Prabhakar Garu, but what I would like to emphasize based on my own experience in my own office, is that the people in the office, if they are not having the spiritual approach in their own mind, in the day-to-day life and in the office, they will end up in Rajasic and Tamasic activities and qualities and thinking. They will have fights, they will incite attacks, they'll do all kinds of negative activities. But by Bhavadgeeta, when I conducted these Bhavadgeeta sessions, once in 1 week, 1 chapter, all people will sit and study and discuss. I explain. They told me once they hear this for more than 1 week, at least 1 week, their mind is peaceful. They are able to think in better way and more sattvic, because the enlightenment, the jnana is also equally important. The attitude, the karma yoga attitude of equanimity and oneness, seeing equality of himself with others. I mean, a lot of people think they are extremely great and others are very, very bad, very poor. And this kind of negative thinking, I have seen one more thing that is happening nowadays, even in life. and in cyberspace also, is the wrong perceptions, false imaginations, false thinking, false conditioning, I would say. A particular narrative with hatred or with jealousy or with greed, something or the other will be applied. And then people will go on doing that. They want to attack some community or some group or some individual. So much of violent thinking, rajasic qualities. So it is very essential that we, as Murthy Garu said, not only in individuals, in organizations, but in the society as a whole, it is a responsibility of all of us to uphold Sattva Guna along with Dharma and Yoga and Jnana, and try to not get succumb and collapse under the influence of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, which are now ruling the life and world and society.
Exactly. One more important point I would bring out of the light is that Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. A managing director of a company should have this quality. Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. We should not support a certain section and do not support other sections. It should not be like that. You should have an equal mind, just like Bhagavan. See, in companies, the people think that MD or managing director or chairman or executive director, the everything for us, Bhagavan. So they pray him like that, they behave like that, they follow him. But if that man is not impartial, then automatically things will get spoiled and people start fighting. So that person, quality should have? He should have Sahurdam Sarva Bhutana. That quality he should have. That leader of the group should have that quality. It percolates from MD to a manager or anybody. Any leader who is leading some 100 people should have this quality of Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. So these certain things, certain words are having very specific meanings, having certain qualities attributed to the Paramatma, Bhagavan, Jiva and all those things. But actually they are attributable to our day-to-day life.
Well, that is well said. It is, in fact, I would like to corroborate that position by quoting a famous proverb in Sanskrit: Na Vishnu Prithvipati, Na Avishnu Prithvipati. A Prithvipati, a ruler, a king, or a manager, or a leader cannot be existing without the qualities of Vishnu, without the qualities of Paramatma.
That's what Bhavadgeeta also told. Krishna Bhagavan himself told, I am Naradhipa. Naranam Naradhipa. He told that I am Vishnu as a king. That's what it is.
And in Japan, even today, king is considered as God.
God.
Yes, somebody else has raised a hand.
Yeah, anybody? Ramakrishna Garu, you would like to speak?
Yeah, Sarvebhya Namaskara. So, Prabhakar Gariki, Tarata, CSR Prabhu Garu kuda Namaskaram specially. Prabhakar ivala CSR Prabhu Garu lectures konni miss ayyan madhyalo nenu andana adutana ee question. Particularly 4th chapter nunchi. So, దాని ముందర ఇంకొక విషయం ఏం చెప్తా అంటే ఇవాళ మీరు చెప్పిన దాంట్లో విగత ఇచ్ఛ భయక్రోధాహ అని చెప్పారు చూసారా, స్ట్రెస్ చేసి, అది చాలా అనిపించింది నాకు. సో అది దట్ ఈస్ అ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ టేక్. అది కమింగ్ టు 4th chapter నాకు కొన్ని డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయని అందువల్ల మీ పర్మిషన్ తో అడుగుతున్నాను, ఎందుకంటే అది లాస్ట్ టైం మీరు చెప్పే ఉంటారు బహుశా. సో దాంట్లో ఒకటి ఏంటంటే మీరు వాళ్ళు టచ్ కూడా చేశారు, అది మన కర్మ అకర్మ వికర్మ అన్నారు, అది కొద్దిగా వికర్మ కాస్త క్లారిఫై చేయండి ఒకటి. రెండోదేమో ఈ హవనం అని చెప్తాడు కదా, మన 29th శ్లోకాలు అండ్ 26th శ్లోకాల్లో ఇక్కడ దాంట్లో ఏంటంటే ఈ ఇంద్రియములను సంయమమున రూపాత్మలు ఎందును హోమం చేయుదురు అంటాడు. అట్లాగే శబ్దాది సమస్త విషయాలను ఇంద్రియ రూపాత్మలు ఎందు హవనం, అంటే ఈ రెండు హవనం నాకు అర్థం కావట్లేదు.
ఓకే గుడ్ క్వశ్చన్స్, ఐ విల్ ఆన్సర్ బోత్.
ఇంకొకటి కూడా ఏంటంటే ఇది సేమ్ కాంటెక్స్ట్ 29th లో కూడా ఈ సేస్ అపానవాయువందేమో ప్రాణవాయువందు అపానవాయుని హవనం ఎట్లా చేస్తారు, అది కూడా గోయింగ్ అబౌవ్ మై హెడ్.
Okay, I have explained last time, but I will explain again now because you are very sincerely having that doubt.
Thank you.
Karma, akarma, vikarma. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam cha vikarmana akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. కర్మ అనగానే మనం ఇందాక నుంచి we have been speaking about karma as if it is a simple thing. It is not just so simple. Karma can be akarma, can be vikarma, can be sukarma, can be nitya karma, can be nimitta karma, nitya naimitika kamya karma. It can be punya karma, papa karma. It can be apara karma. It can be so many types of classifications of karmas are there. That is the point. Gahana karmano gati annadu. The motion or the strategic motion of karma is complex annadu. Etla complex ayindante karma ante maamuluga karma action ani cheppam. Akarma ante emi cheyakunda undadam anedi akarma ani cheppam. Without doing nothing. Doing nothing is akarma. Vikarma is doing the opposite of what you are supposed to do. See, now what happens, supposing you are operating some instrument for the first time, you don't know how to operate it. Either you keep quiet, which is akarma. You operate it correctly, then it's fine. It is a karma with skill. But if you operate it in the opposite manner, if you left the paper the right tipper and kondi, it will do something else. It will do the opposite. For pranayama chestunappudu, I am asking you to pull the abdomen inside when you breathe out, and push this abdomen forward when you breathe in. If you don't do it and do the opposite, then it will give opposite result. There are people who have died out of doing pranayama wrongly. There are people who got high blood pressure. In fact, one of my friends told, we were all right before going to yoga class, but after going to yoga class by so and so organization, my husband got heart problem and I got high BP. What is this nonsense? I asked. Then they told, I asked, what are you doing? How are you doing? Then they told they are doing this way and at this time. And so everything was wrong. The timing was wrong. The procedure was wrong. So it will produce opposite results. That is vikarma. Okay. Now coming to the other, this pranayama, the third question I'll answer first. See, in pranayama, in fact, our Guruji, Dikshitluji, who taught me yoga, he used to quote this sloka every time. Because in the whole of Bhavadgeeta, pranayama is explained in one full sloka in Bhavadgeeta. Bhavadgeeta is a very top text. So one full sloka is allocated for pranayama itself shows the importance of pranayama. And what is its effect? Apane jupati pranam prane apanantadha pare pranapana gatirudva pranayama parayana. So the pranayama parayanas, like yoga practitioners, yoga teachers, yoga experts, they practice pranayama. So even Lord Krishna is acknowledging the importance, the role of yoga teachers and pranayama teachers in Bhagavad-gita itself by stopping pranapana gati. Normal gati is, inhalation, exhalation, pranapana goes on. By arresting it, by modifying it, by controlling it, regulating it, that is ayama, means controlling, regulating, that is prana ayama. So by doing that, the pranayama experts are performing pranayama. So what he means by the first statement, apane jupati pranam pranaya, is a figurative speech. I know slash alankaram laga vadutunnadu akkada. Alankar, it is not to be taken physically. You have to interpret, he is performing homam of prana in apana and apana in prana. That means a homa process, yajna process is allegorically, alankarika, rupakalankaranlo pranayamani varnistunnadu. Ante. అట్లాగే మిగిలిన మీరు అడిగిన రెండో డౌట్ కూడా అవన్నీ ఇంద్రియాగ్నిషు జుహ్వతి అంటే ఇంద్రియములు అనేటువంటి అగ్నిలో హోమం చేస్తున్నాడు. సంయమాగ్నిషు జుహ్వతి, సంయమం అంటే డిసిప్లిన్ అనేటువంటి అగ్ని, అదొక అలంకారంగా చెప్తున్నాడు. రూపకాలంకారం, ఉపమాలంకారం ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఉత్ప్రేక్ష, అతిశయ, వాటిని చెప్తున్నాడు అన్నమాట. సో ఇందులో హవనం చేస్తున్నాడు అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఆకలి, అగ్ని, ఫాస్టింగ్ చేశారనుకోండి, అపరే నియతాహార ప్రాణాన్ ప్రాణేషు జుహ్వతి. ప్రాణాయామం కాకుండా ఎవరైతే ఫాస్టింగ్ చేస్తున్నారో నియతాహారులు, ప్రాణములని ప్రాణముల్లోనే హోమం చేస్తున్నారు అన్నాడు. It is an allegorical explanation of the process involved. It is not to be taken on the face value.
Thank you.
Somebody has raised the question.
A Zoom user.
Sir.
Who is Zoom user? Zoom user.
నేనే సార్ మూర్తిని మళ్ళీ
Acha, okay.
ఒక్క
What happened?
ఒక్క మాట చెప్పదలుచుకున్నాను సార్. అది ఇప్పుడు ది లీడర్ షుడ్ బి లైక్ గాడ్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ కలికాలము ఇవన్నీ వచ్చినాయి కానీ లేకపోతే ఈవెన్ యెహోవా టైంలో కూడాను ది కింగ్ మౌంట్ వెళ్ళి నాకు పిల్లలు లేరు కాబట్టి వాళ్ళకు ఒక రాజునివ్వమని ప్రార్థించేవాళ్ళు. అండ్ ప్రజలు కూడా రాజు అంటే భగవంతుడు రిప్రజెంటేటివ్ అని నమ్మేవాళ్ళు. మన దగ్గర కూడా ఏదైనా ప్రాబ్లం వస్తే అర్ధరాత్రి వెళ్ళి గంట కొడితే ఆ రాజుగారి నిద్ర లేచి వచ్చేవాడు. అర్ధరాత్రి గంట కొట్టినా సరే బయట గంట ఉండేది కోటలో. అది కొడితే ఆయన వచ్చి ఏంట్రా బాబు నీ ప్రాబ్లము, ఓకే రేపు పొద్దున్నరా నేను ప్రాబ్లం తీరుస్తాను అని చెప్పేవాడు. సో ఆ కింగ్లీనెస్ అనేటటువంటిది ఈ జ్ఞాన వృద్ధితో వస్తుంది కానివ్వండి, ఈ ట్రైనింగ్ హెచ్ఆర్ వీళ్ళ వల్ల రాదేమోనని నాకు ఒక భ్రమ. అది సార్, అదొక్క మాట చెప్దామని. మొత్తం ప్రపంచం అంతా ఉండింది. కింగ్ ఈజ్ ద లీడర్ అండ్ ఈజ్ ద గాడ్ రిప్రజెంటేటివ్, ఈజ్ ఆల్ ఇన్ ఆల్. మన శిక్షించిన మనకి పెట్టిన ఆయనే, ఆయన దయ వల్ల ఇదంతా నడుస్తోంది అనేటటువంటి భక్తి భావం ఉండేది ప్రజల్లో. ఇప్పుడు ఈ కొత్త కొత్త అన్ని అటు ఇటు ఆ ఐడియా ఈ ఐడియా పెట్టి బ్రెయిన్ లో వాళ్ళు ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నారో వాళ్ళకే తెలియక మనం ఏం చేయాలో మనకు తెలియనటువంటి ఒక ప్రస్తుత పరిస్థితి అని నేను అనుకుంటున్నా సార్. అంతే, జస్ట్ ఇది చెప్దామని.
Exactly, like that's why everybody cannot become a managing director. Everybody cannot become a chairman of a company or employer. So there are some people only can become. That is the basic natural instinct what you told. There must be some natural basic phenomena. Porojanma is there for them. Natural qualities are there. That's why they should become to that level. But one second. But this can be achieved also by constant practice and sadhana, and by these type of knowledgeable words from Bhavadgeeta type of things. When you know, they can be nurtured to that level.
ప్రభాకర్ గారు ఇక్కడ ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్ ఒకటి ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు రాజు లేదా మేనేజింగ్ డైరెక్టర్ లేదా లీడరు ఎవరైనా కానీ, గాంధీ కానీ ఎవరైనా కానీ, ఇతరుల గురించి ఆలోచిస్తగలడు అంటే అందరినీ సమానంగా చూడగలడు, తనతో సమానంగా ఇతరులను చూడగలడు, ఆత్మవత్ సర్వభూతాని. ఆ లెవెల్ రావడం అనేది కేవలం ఈ స్పిరిచువల్లీ ఎన్లైటెడ్ భగవద్గీతలో చెప్పినటువంటి స్థితప్రజ్ఞుడు, గుణాతీతుడు, భక్తుడు, యోగి అలాంటి వాళ్ళకే వస్తుంది కానీ మామూలు మనుషులకు రాదు. Unless and until you are able to equanimity, see others all equal to yourself, and you are able to empathize, not only sympathize, but empathize, feel what they are feeling, and then you can take action. That's what Rama did. That's what all successful kings and leaders did. So that is the quality being explained in the Bhagavad Gita.
సార్, వీళ్ళు రాజుగా అవతారాల్లో వచ్చిన రాముడు, కృష్ణుడు కూడా వాళ్ళు గురువు గారి దగ్గర ఆశ్రమానికి వెళ్ళి అక్కడ సన్నిధిలో గురు సేవ చేసుకొని ప్రతి క్షణం గురువు యొక్క పర్యవేక్షణలో నేర్చుకొని డిసిప్లిన్ నేర్చుకున్నారు కాబట్టి ఆయన వాళ్ళు ఆ దైవత్వాన్ని పొందగలిగారని అనుకుంటున్నాను సార్. మన విద్యా సిస్టము కొంచెం మారాలి.
కరెక్ట్. అందుకనే నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ నేషనల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీ మీద లెక్చర్ పెడుతున్నాం. నెక్స్ట్ సాటర్డే ఇది లెక్చర్ ఆన్ నేషనల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీ.
చాలా బాగుంటుంది.
రామయ్య గారు
మాట్లాడండి. రామయ్య గారు జనరల్ మేనేజర్ ఫ్రమ్ పిఎన్టీ టెలిఫోన్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్, ఎక్స్ జనరల్ మేనేజర్. రామయ్య గారు మాట్లాడండి ప్లీజ్. అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి. వినపట్లేదు, అన్మ్యూట్ చేయాలా మీరు? రామయ్య గారు మీరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేయలేదు. ఇప్పుడు మాట్లాడండి, వినపడుతుంది.
ఈ ఈక్వానిమిటీ గురించి, దాని బెనిఫిట్ గురించి, దాని నెసెసిటీ గురించి మేము
ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ చేసిన సర్వీస్ లో చూస్తే అది చాలా ప్రాక్టికల్ గా ఉంటుందని చెప్తాం. ఒక పర్టికులర్ ప్లేస్ లో నాకు పోస్టింగ్ అయినప్పుడు అందరూ భయపెట్టారన్నమాట. అక్కడ 3 యూనియన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, రోజు కత్తులతో పడుకుంటారు, గొడవ చేసుకుంటారు, నువ్వు అలా వెళ్తున్నావు మార్చుకోమని. మై ఫస్ట్ పోస్టింగ్ యాజ్ వినిపిస్తుంది సార్?
ప్లీజ్ గో క్యారీ ఆన్, వినిపిస్తుంది, చెప్పండి.
అచ్చా, ఆ పర్టికులర్ ప్లేస్ కి మీరు వెళ్ళవద్దు, అక్కడంతా కూడా వైలెన్స్ ఉంది, కత్తులతో పడుచుకుంటారు, యూనియన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, మీరు తప్పించుకోమంటే దట్ వాస్ మై ఫస్ట్ పోస్టింగ్ యాజ్ ఎ క్లాస్ 1 ఆఫీసర్ ఇన్ IT యాజ్ ITS ఆఫీసర్. బట్ ఐ వెంట్ వితౌట్ ఎనీ దిస్ వన్. ఓన్లీ వన్ పర్టికులర్ థింగ్ వాట్ ఐ డిడ్ ఇట్, I was actually treating all the 3 unions impartially. I was able to concede separately all the demands of all the 3 unions separately, and wherever possible there are clashes, I was able to mediate it. Once they realized that I am impartial and I am sincere in to solve the problems, a lot of changes happened, and I had a very, very smooth go. There is no violence, there is no protest, there is no dharna, nothing was there. Everybody is surprised, how is that place is so peaceful and all. At the end of my service there, all the people quarreling people with swords and all, they jointly gave me a farewell party which nobody will believe it, but I experienced it. It's not that I am great, but only one quality has been maintained, that is taking care of everybody. Why should I take care of everybody? Because it is my responsibility to take care of everybody. Let him belong to any of the unions. That is one thing, sir. Earlier context, Rao Garu was telling pertaining to some offices. What I felt is this niskama karma or detached working, once it comes into the mind, automatically the idea of corruption gets eliminated. And if you are able to add service to the society, service concept, these two brings a total change of working in the office, and actually lot of respect you will be getting it once you are able to do it. Whether you will be able to change the office totally or not, that's a different matter, but there will be some change. But these 3 things are adaptable, possible, and I have experimented it with some degree of success. I believe that means the relevance of this Bhavadgeeta in practice, it is possible, at least to some extent, if it is tried. If it is fully tried and more people adopt it, automatically there is a total difference in the government working, which is normally having good reputation. That is my humble submission. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very well said. Very well. Very happy to note your practical experience in the field.
Yes, sir.
Same thing else.
Anybody else would like to speak? Anybody else?
We can take an example of Maharaja Janaka. Am I correct? Rajarishi.
Yes.
Yes, correct, exactly.
No,
Because
Janaka
he is
was
a good role.
No, he was a very highly enlightened jnani. We have a whole book called Ashtavakra Samhita, which I will cover some other day whenever possible. It's a high level Advaita Jnana level between Janaka and Ashtavakra. He's not an ordinary king. Janaka is not an ordinary king. In fact, he is mentioned in Bhavadgeeta also as an example of Karma Yogi. Janakadayaha. So he is greater than all other kings. He was an enlightened soul. Enlightened jnani.
The people who understood Gita were called as Janakas in those days. Those Janakarajas. So the dynasty itself is mentioned like that, Janaka. So you are perfectly correct. So anybody else?
Thank you.
Parvati garu maatladtaru.
Parvati garu. Parvati Mittipatya.
She tried to speak, so I thought.
Yeah. Meer maatladtara Parvati garu. Would you like to speak, Parvati ji?
లేదండి వింటున్నాను అంతే.
Okay, very good. So shall we close here, or anybody else would like to share his views? Shall we close here? I'll ask Dr. Visalakshmi garu to conclude the our views, to give or share our views. Then we will go to Dr. Babu for concluding the session.
నమస్కారం అండి. సభాయై నమః. ఇవాళ చాలా అద్భుతంగా చెప్పారు మన డాక్టర్ సిఎస్ఆర్ ప్రభు గారు. మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఇష్యూస్ మనకి భగవద్గీత 5th చాప్టర్ లో ఉన్నది అని ప్రారంభించారు, కానీ ఓవరాల్ గా భగవద్గీత మొత్తంలో ఉన్న ఆ చక్కని మేనేజ్మెంట్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీస్ ని ఎలా షేర్ చేయాలి, వివిధ అంటే అందరూ కూడా ఓన్లీ మేనేజ్ చేసే వాళ్ళు మేనేజర్స్ అనే కాకుండా అందరికీ ఉపయోగపడే పద్ధతిలో మనకి భగవద్గీత యొక్క సారాన్ని, ఆ నిష్కామ కర్మ అంటే ఏమిటి, అసలు కౌశలం అంటే ఏమిటి, ధర్మము ధర్మి యొక్క భావాలను గురించి, శ్రీకృష్ణ పరమాత్మ చెప్పినటువంటి కర్మ సన్యాసాన్ని గురించి బోధించారు. ఆ యోగము అంటే ఏమిటి, సన్యాసము అంటే ఏమిటి, ఆ కర్మ యోగికి కర్మ సన్యాసికి ఉన్న ఆ డిఫరెన్సెస్ ని కూడా, ఆ ఎన్లైటెండ్ సోల్ అన్న ఎన్లైటెండ్ పర్సన్ ఎలా ఉంటారు అన్న దాన్ని కూడా మనకి చక్కగా అర్థమయ్యేలా గీత శ్లోకాలన్నీ కూడా చెప్తూ ఎన్నో ఉదాహరణలతో మనకి జ్ఞానము గురించి కూడా మనకి చెప్పారు. అలాగే ఫిజికల్ గా మనం దేహంలో ఉంటూ అన్ని పనులు చేస్తున్నాము. దాన్ని శంకరాచార్యులు చెప్పిన ఒక శ్లోకాన్ని ఉదహరించి చెప్పారు. ఈ దేహంలో ద్వారాలు ఉన్నటువంటి దేహం అన్నది. అలాగే ఇంకొకటి కూడా జగద్గురు ఆదిశంకర భగవత్పాదులే ఉత్థాటిత నవద్వార పంజరే విహగో నిలహ యత్తిష్టతి తదాశ్చర్యం ప్రయాతే విస్మయ కుతః అని అన్నారు. అంటే నవద్వారాలు ఉన్న ఈ దేహము అనే పంజరంలో ఉన్న చిలక, ఈ గాలి వాయువు ఏ క్షణానైనా ఎగిరిపోవచ్చు. ఎగిరిపోకుండా అందులో ఉంటే ఆశ్చర్యం కానీ ఎగిరిపోతే వింతలేదు. కనుక దేహంలో ప్రాణము ఉన్న ఆ సమయం లోపలే ఈ దేహాన్ని ఉపాధిని ఉపయోగించుకుంటూ మానవుడు ఏ విధంగా ఈ ఇహలోకంలో తన కర్తవ్యాలన్నిటినీ కూడా నిష్కామంగా మన శ్రీ ఆకళ్ళ ప్రభాకరరావు గారు చెప్పినట్టుగా సమదర్శనత్వాన్ని, జితేంద్రియత్వాన్ని, ఆ క్షీణ కర్మలు అని అంటారు. ఆ సంఘం త్యక్వ, ఈ సంఘం త్యక్వ ధనంజయ అని వాడారు ఆయన. సంఘాన్ని వదిలిపెట్టి తామరాకు మీద నీటి బిందువులాగా జీవిస్తూ సుహృద సర్వభూతానం అని ఒకటి ఉదాహరించారు. ఇలాంటి లక్షణాలన్నీ కూడా భగవద్గీత అధ్యయనం వల్ల, దాన్ని అర్థం చేసుకోవడం వల్ల మనకి సాధ్యమవుతుంది. మనకి డాక్టర్ సిఎస్ఆర్ ప్రభు గారు కూడా వారి ఆఫీస్ లో జరిగిన తన అనుభవాన్ని కూడా చెప్పారు. ముందు ఎలా ఉండేవాళ్ళు అక్కడ వర్క్ చేసే అందరూ కూడా, తర్వాత భగవద్గీత క్లాసులు వారానికి ఒక రోజు చెప్పడం మొదలెట్టేటప్పటికల్లా వారి మానసికమైన ఆలోచనలలో ఎలాంటి తేడా వచ్చింది, వారి వర్క్ చేసే మేనేజ్మెంట్ స్కిల్స్, పనిచేసే నైపుణ్యం అనేది వాళ్ళకి ఎలా డెవలప్ అయింది, పరస్పరము ద్వేష భావాలు కానీ విద్వేషం లేకుండా ఎలా చెయ్యగలుగుతున్నారు చక్కగా అన్నది. అంటే ఇప్పుడు చేసేది ఏదో దాని ఫలం ఆశించి చేస్తే కేవలం ఫలం మీదే దృష్టి ఉంటుంది. అలా కాకుండా కర్తవ్యం దృష్టితో ఇది చెయ్యాలి, చేయాలి. ఆ ఫలం అనేది పరమాత్మ, ఏ పని చేసినా దాని ఫలం ఎలాగో వస్తుంది, ఆ దాంతో మనకి సంబంధం లేదు అని అంటూ. అలాగే ఐఐటిలో సీట్ వచ్చినా రాకపోయినా కృషి చేసినప్పుడు సాధారణమైనటువంటి వాళ్ళైతే సీట్ రాకపోతే బాధపడతారు. అదే కాస్త మెచ్యూరిటీ ఆఫ్ మైండ్ ఉన్న మంచి శక్తి కలిగిన మానసికంగా బాలుడైతే అతను రాకపోయినా బాధపడ్డు. ఎందుకంటే ఒక ఐఐటిలో సీట్ రావడం అన్నది ఒక ఉదాహరణగా చెప్పారు. అలాగే జీవితంలో ఏదైనా, ఇప్పుడు ఐఐటిలో సీట్ రావాలి అంటే 1000 మంది ఉండి 100 సీట్లు ఉంటే 10% ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది కదా. అదే 1,00,000 మంది అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు వాడికి 1% ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. అలాంటప్పుడు ఎంత మేధా సంపద కలిగినా, ఎంత కృషి చేసినా కేవలం తన ఒక్కడి ప్రతిభ మీద, మేధస్సు మీద ఆధారపడి ఉండదు. చుట్టుపక్కలున్న ఆ సంఘం కానీ, సమాజం కానీ, మిగతా పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ కాంపిటీషన్కి వెళ్తారు. ఎస్ఏ రేటింగ్, ఎలక్ట్రిషన్, నలుగురే మాట్లాడితే వాళ్ళల్లో ఎవరిలోనూ పెద్ద ప్రతిభ లేకపోయినా ఓ 2కి ప్రైజులు వస్తాయి. అదే 50 మంది అద్భుతమైన మంచి జ్ఞానం కలవాళ్ళు చాలా బాగా మాట్లాడినా 3కే ప్రైజులు వచ్చాయి అని అంటే మిగతా వాళ్ళల్లో మేధస్సు లేదని కాదు కదా. అది ఎప్పుడైతే మనిషి తెలుసుకుని స్పోర్టివ్ గా తీసుకుంటాడో అప్పుడు మనసుకి బాగుంటది. కనుక మానసికంగా బ్యాలెన్సింగ్ గా ఎలా ఉండాలి అన్నదాన్ని, ఆ సహనాన్ని, క్షమని కూడా మనకి భగవద్గీత అధ్యయనం చేయడం వల్ల మనకి తెలుస్తుంది. కనుక ఈ భగవద్గీత సారాన్ని ఒక్కొక్క వారము మాట్లాడుతున్నప్పుడు ఒక్కొక్క అంశాన్ని తీసుకుంటూ ఆ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో అద్భుతంగా మనందరినీ చక్కగా ఎన్లైటన్ చేస్తూ, ఇంకా చాలా మేధావులైనటువంటి మన శ్రోతలందరూ కూడా అడుగుతున్న ప్రశ్నలకి ఇంకా అద్భుతంగా ఆయన ఉపన్యాసం ఎంత బాగుంటుందో ఆ చెప్పిన సమాధానాలు కూడా అంత జ్ఞానదాయకంగా చక్కగా, ఇప్పుడు అకర్మ వికర్మల గురించి క్రిందటి వారం కూడా చాలా బాగా చక్కగా వివరించి చెప్పారు. ఆపనాలు అంటే ఆ ప్రాణాయామం చేయడం ఎలా చెయ్యాలి అన్నది కూడా అది కనుక సరిగ్గా చేయకపోతే ఎలా విపరీతమైన ఫలితాలను ఇస్తుంది అన్నదాన్ని కూడా తెలియజేశారు. ఇంత చక్కని బోధ మనకి చేసినందుకు డాక్టర్ సిఎస్ఆర్ ప్రభు గారికి హృదయపూర్వకమైన కృతజ్ఞతలు చెప్తున్నాను. ప్రతి వారము ఏదో ఒక అంశం గురించిన ఒక కొత్త పాయింట్, ఒక అవగాహన ఆ శ్రోతలందరికీ కూడా కలిగేలా చెప్తూ ఉన్నందుకు చాలా ఆనందంగా ఉంది. అలాగే ఇంత మంచి ప్రోగ్రాం ఏర్పాటు చేసిన మన వేద సంస్కృతి సమితికి శ్రీ అఖిల ప్రభాకర్ రావు గారికి హృదయపూర్వకమైన ధన్యవాదములు చెప్తున్నాను.
నమస్కారం, ధన్యవాదాలు. So now with this, now we'll ask Dr. Babu. Now I want to tell one thing. Next class, next Saturday, Prabhu garu maya chaminchali. Next Saturday నేను ఒకళ్ళకి న్యూ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీ మీద లెక్చర్ ఇమ్మని I requested him, Dr. Ram Mohan. So he agreed to give on next Saturday. That will be a new education policy. What is the present status? Last 1 year back, we discussed on this new education policy, and he has explained what was the existing policy actually and how it is going to be implemented. Now some progress has been happened in that, it seems, and I asked him to apprise what is the present status of that. So he will give next Saturday, will be there. I request you to take up on 12th Saturday, next class, next session. Dr. Prabhu garu. That is a request to Dr. Prabhu. Dr. Prabhu garu lera velipera, is he left?
లేకపోతే వచ్చే ఆదివారం వారిని చెప్పమనండి. శనివారం మనకి వేరే ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉంటే ఆదివారం డాక్టర్
So one more thing. Adivaram I requested Dr. Vani from Vanita Vidyalaya. She is a retired principal. Dr. Vani, he is giving lecture on Natya Shastra. That I promised her long back. I promised her first week of March I will give. I promised her.
చాలా సంతోషం.
6th March is the Dr. Vani. Dr. Vani's Dr. Vani garu Natya Shastra మీద lecture ఉంటుంది. What is there in Natya Shastra? What is science in Natya Shastra? And what is there actually in Natya Shastra? These three things she will carry on 6th March. 5th March will be NEP. 6th March will be Natya Shastra. So with this, I request Dr. Babu to close the session with his concluding remarks. Vote of thanks.
Namo Namah. Thank you for the opportunity. We have another good session today from Dr. Prabhu. So this is the 4th session of the series of sessions we are going to have in Bhavadgeeta, Science and Management in Bhavadgeeta. We are very fortunate to have Dr. CSR Prabhu with us to give us, enlighten us the gist and knowledge from Bhavadgeeta on aspects of science and management. Is being very well received by all of us. Lot of questions and answers are being asked. We should thank Dr. Prabhu to give us enough time for question answer session. He has taken exactly 1 hour and then gave us enough time for interaction with him. Let us all thank him for that opportunity. Murthy garu, Bhagavan Das garu, Anamika Sharma garu, Murali Mohan Akella especially asked many questions. IVRS Sharma garu gave a very good question to all of us, and Ramakrishna Vemuri garu and Ramai garu gave practical examples. Let us thank all the audience who have taken a lot of interest in attending the session. We have around 30 people who have taken out their time and attended this session, and I'm very sure that they got worth of their time in this webinar. So we have already seen Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Now today also we have seen some management principles and CSR activities, HR relations. The next one we are going to have meditation and pranayama in the next probably next session.
12th March.
Yeah, 12th March. So he has vast knowledge, very deep knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, And only what we are hearing from him is the gist, and which is applicable from the point of view of science and management. Let us all thank him for this. And A.H.P. Rao Garu spoke on this topic, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, and also explained the necessity of respecting each other in the workplace environment, and many other things he has spoken about. Let us thank Visalakshi Garu for giving us the concluding speech. And Veda Samskruti Samiti has worked a lot and then conducted this webinar. And especially let us thank Visalakshi Garu again, Lalita Garu, Ramakrishna Garu, Subramanian Garu for taking out their time from their busy schedules and organizing these webinars. With this, I'd like to conclude and thank you again for attending the session. Namo Namaha.
1 second. Devanshi, would you like to speak something? Devanshi.
Sir, namaskar, sir. Shubh Sayam. Andarki namaskar. Sir, can we find this today's very divine meeting? Can we find the recording again? So if we have missed anything, because the initial program
this will be available on YouTube. This is available on YouTube.
YouTube, sir.
Yeah, within one a day or so it will come.
Yeah, please. Can we find a link on our site?
Then you search Veda Samskruti Samiti, you find all our videos.
Samskruti Samiti. Okay, sir.
And subscribe, you will be getting your messages.
Okay, sir. Definitely. I have subscribed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kachchid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Satyam Vada Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavai Tejasvina Tamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Satyam Vada Dharmanchara Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Nama Janaganamana. We'll close. Janaganamana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata. Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Ujjwala Jaladhi Taranga Tava Subha Name Jage Tava Subha Ashisha Mage Gahe Tava Jaya Gadha Janagana Mangaladayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He Jaya 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 He Jai Hind Jai Hind Jai Hind Jai Shri Ram Jai